Hello and welcome to Unbox the podcast that helps you live your best life. I'm your host, Sahar Huneidi-Palmer. Unbox Coffee Break started in the lockdown of 2020. What developed was a true sense of community, virtual community, and I found a new way to support my friends, followers, and those who needed help. Bloom sent me, she's ready for our coffee break. She sent me a picture of her mug and coffee, and here's mine today. I'm thinking of home, I'm thinking of my friends, I'm thinking of my life in England, I'm thinking of my late husband, and I'm thinking space and time. Because yesterday something very nice and unusual happened. My friend from freshman year from university called me from the States, and that immediately brought me back to time-space memory of being under the Iraqi invasion in Kuwait, when we were off the grid completely for about 6 months. But she managed to find me. I don't know how. She called the head office in Cyprus. Somebody answered her, said, okay, we'll look for Sahar, we'll get back to you in a week. And then she called a week later, and they gave her the details of where I was staying, which was absolutely amazing. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, 3-4 months later, I was out in England. The phone rings, I pick it up, and it's my friend Diana from the States. And exactly the same thing has happened yesterday. And it made me think of what we miss. I mean, thank God, homestay is not as bad as being literally locked down under invasion. But it made me think of that time, and it made me think of what lockdown or homestay is about, focusing on what's really important in life. And I think it's that connection that we make. And when I think of connections, of making a connection with another human being, sometimes you establish that deep connection, and it doesn't matter how frequently you see someone, and you make friends, but it's not a friendship, it's almost a soulmate connection. And that friend can be man or woman, that friend can be just simply another fellow human being. And you meet for a brief period. I mean, freshman year, 40 years ago is a brief period in time, looking back now. But we've struck a friendship, Diana and I, and it really is like soul sisters. And no matter how much we don't see each other, we seem to pick up that friendship, we seem to pick up that connection, no matter what's happening in our lives. And it's as though we just left each other yesterday. And it made me think of how fortunate I am, because when you are in homestay or lockdown or isolation, you feel all alone, but it's not really true. Your perception is that you're all alone. And then look at us all here meeting on coffee break. It's wonderful. So we're not really alone, but we are together with people who support wherever they come from for however brief period of time. We are establishing that connection. And I feel that connection is like a net, that carries you through uncertain times, that carries you through whatever chaos that we are going through. And I think we're really fortunate that the universe has given us this, however horrific experience, but it has allowed us the time to think about what we need to focus on, what we can focus on. And also it's an opportunity to shift. I really believe once you shift your perspective, you really see things differently. And sometimes chaotic adverse situation can give you the opportunity to make a mental shift, a mental unblock. And if you make that shift, as though the obstacle disappears, and then suddenly you have a new perspective on your life, and you are able to extract wisdom and strength. It's not even strength, it's the inspiration to continue. Because, strength for me implies pushing it, because you can establish, that link with people for however short period of time, but it can be a very meaningful connection. And it's these connections that are carrying me through this hard time. So I don't think it's got to do with how often we see each other. It's that connection that you make. And sometimes I find myself making that connection almost instantly. and you just feel it here in your heart. You just feel, I would like to see that person again, or talk to them, or connect with them. And I really do. I act on my instincts, or it's not an instinct, it's an intuition, because instinct is a different thing in my definition. But when you're free, you can take my online course and you'll find out about all these definitions that I've developed over the years. But for me, the intuition is like, whew, it drops down here and then you feel it here. And sometimes if people are not ready, or if they don't have the same attitude, it kind of takes them aback and they wonder, like, why are you making a connection with me? Well, I don't know why. It's just I feel strongly here that it doesn't matter where people come from. It doesn't matter whether they're men or women. It's very important to make that soul connection, because we can find it as a safety net when we need it. And I think it just made me think, we're all little beings that connect with each other. And if it weren't for these connections, you can't really create what you want in life. You can't even design the life that you want on your own, because no man is an island. And that's what has been on my mind today, how time, space are related, and they made me think of connections. My definition is instinct, as I said, is here. It's more of an inspiration. It's more of an instantaneous feeling. When you walk into a property and you immediately think, I feel at home, or you feel, I don't want to see that person again. An instinct is more of a gut feeling. It's more programmed. It's more reptilian behavior. It's more of an instinct for whatever, survival, fight, flight. It's physical almost, or biological, rather than it's inspired feeling. And I have a different definitions between feeling and emotions, because for me, a feeling is that it's an impulse from the heart. It's a resonance between two energies of two people. An emotion is almost being emotional. It's almost a reaction. Emotion is energy in motion. It can go up, it can go down, it can be hormonal, but the feeling is always the same. Yesterday, I had a very important business phone call to make. I'm trying to publish the book of my late husband, and I was waiting for ages to speak to this publisher. And I listened, and I asked questions, and I noticed two things. He wasn't really curious. And the more he spoke, the more I felt, something is not right here. But that made me also think of, why am I saying that? Because intellectually, the signs are not there. And this is how they're all connected. Does that make sense? Well, this is how my brain works. It just takes ideas and then it builds networks, and then I develop a concept, and that helps me see things in a different way. So what has been on your mind? What have you learned about yourselves today? Or what did you notice? Or what was on your mind? I'm indoors today because, to me, it's very hot to be outside, and I hope the summer hasn't started, because mentally I'm not ready for it. The birds are there, but there's not a breeze. A couple of hours ago it was wonderful, and then now suddenly it turned, and I'm beginning to think Dubai is getting to be like London. And you know what they say about London, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. So again, that reminds me of home. But the cats don't mind. They're sitting there enjoying it, and I'm looking at them. By the way, I'm uploading all the coffee breaks on IGTV for whenever you will want to watch them. I would certainly appreciate your comments, because your comments and encouragement keeps me going. And I'm gonna keep it short today, because I'm very, very excited. I got this wonderful group, another group who really wants to join in and do the video course. And the reason that I thought of Unbox Homestay video course is because people are fed up of feeling stuck, which is again a perception. So I thought the best thing is really to talk to them over videos. But they're very, very excited, and we're gonna have once a week. It's for 2 weeks, and once a week we're gonna have an online group session, which I'm very comfortable with. So it makes me really happy that people are still happy to meet, and they're making an effort to meet and to connect online. And this is what's fantastic about the human spirit, that no matter what, it rises above the circumstance, the limitations that it finds itself in, and try to build connections.